Hey there, and welcome back to Not Your Dad's Business. I'm your host, CaiLea Martin. Usually, we start these episodes by talking about the three pillars of local business survival: online presence, local presence, and automation. I typically tell you how I have zero formal degrees, but plenty of real world proof that simple systems can completely scale a small town operation. We talk about the digital storefront, the referral pipelines, and how to buy back your time. Today, we're going to do things a little differently. I want to take you behind the curtain and tell you about a massive, stomach dropping failure that happened in my own business just this week. If you are a 1 or 2 person show, you already know that balancing your personal life and your business, it's a constant high wire act. Sometimes you execute it perfectly. You feel like a superhero who can manage the books, serve the community, and still show up for your family. And sometimes you completely fall off the wire. This week, for the very first time ever, we completely dropped the ball and we missed a rental for our inflatable bounce house company. So today, we're going to talk about the ultimate accountability, how to handle an irate customer when you are dead wrong, the reality of what your customers actually care about, and the dangerous trap of complacency when you work with a rockstar partner like I do. So let's roll up our sleeves and get into it. Let me just set the scene for you so that you can feel the exact level of panic we are dealing with. This past weekend was the absolute busiest of our entire season for our inflatable rental business. We had units going out everywhere. I'm talking about having multiple crews in multiple states, hours apart from each other. And on top of the business chaos, it was a massive, highly emotional week for my family. My son just had his birthday, which he has been looking forward to and reminding us about for months. And my daughter's birthday is coming up later this week, and right in the middle of our highest volume weekend. We also decided to sign my daughter up for her very first sleepaway camp and had to drop her off. My husband and I had just arrived at camp. We were literally about to pull up to the docks to take a pontoon boat out to where she was going to be staying. We were trying to be completely present, trying to soak in this special milestone for her. And then our work phone started ringing repeatedly from the same number. My husband and I look at each other, and you just know that look. If you run a business with your spouse or a partner, you know that exact look you give each other when you just know something is wrong. We opened up our schedule, scanned the calendar, and my stomach instantly hit the floor. We had completely overlooked a rental. We were stuck on the dock trying to be good parents for our daughter's big moment while simultaneously scrambling to get a hold of one of our workers to go out to our warehouse to load up the equipment and rush it over to the customer's house to start it getting set up, on top of also being in an area with terrible signal. And it was just one of those quintessential heart-pounding moments of being a small business owner where your personal life and your business are suddenly colliding at 100 miles per hour, and there is absolutely nowhere to hide. So we had to call the customer back and explain what was happening and make a new game plan for their delivery. And let me tell you, they were understandably irate. My husband was the one who called them back, but I could hear the yelling over the phone. They were incredibly upset. And we were absolutely terrified to pull up to their house because we have never forgotten a rental before. And when you are on the receiving end of a very angry customer, human nature screams back at you to defend yourself. The temptation to say, "I'm so sorry, but it's our busiest weekend of the year," or "I apologize, but we're literally on a dock dropping our daughter off at camp." But please, please, please do not ever do that. When you completely drop the ball, your customer does not care about your personal life. And honestly, they shouldn't have to. Because here's the reality of the situation. It didn't matter that we were dropping our daughter off at camp. What mattered was that a little girl was turning 1, and her aunt had spent her hard-earned money to add some extra magic to her birthday party. When they told us that this was inexcusable, you know what I did? I agreed with them. Because they were right. It was inexcusable, and they were allowed to be upset. They had made a comment that they were really scared that they had gotten scammed. And especially in this economy, that is a real concern. If you had made plans for something special to be at a birthday party and it's just not there, there is going to be panic. There is going to be anger. There is going to be so many emotions running through your customer's mind that it is not your job to police them on how they feel. It is your job to own what you did. I made a mistake and I owned it immediately. And we made zero excuses. And we took the hit to make it right. We instantly upgraded her inflatable to a much larger one, and we extended her rental time entirely free of charge until late the next afternoon to compensate for our error. Thankfully, my husband was able to dispatch one of our workers to go get the inflatable, and we managed to take the camp tour, hug her daughter goodbye, and race back into town. And we pulled into the customer's driveway at the exact same time our worker was arriving. And I walked right up and I looked the customer in the eye, and I apologized profusely in person. Because we took extreme ownership, dropped the excuses, and provided an upgrade that made for being 2 hours late, the customer ended up being incredibly understanding and so insanely nice. In fact, when we came to pick up the inflatable the next day, she actually mentioned wanting to rent again from us next year. That right there is exactly why we prioritize our customers above our own egos. It is the reason why roughly 1 in 3 of our customers are returning customers. And that's a pretty high metric for our specific industry, and it's something we're very proud of. But you do not get those metrics by making excuses. You get them by owning failures and respecting your customers' hard-earned money. So, how did this happen in the first place? I had to take a really hard look in the mirror this week, and the answer is simple. I got complacent. My husband is so insanely, incredibly good at running the operational side of our business. He is a massive rock star. Whenever I have to do a delivery, I know without a doubt that he has already triple checked the inventory. He always has a packing list printed and waiting for me in the truck, and he stays completely on top of where all of our employees need to be and exactly when they need to be there. But he's human, and this week, stretched incredibly thin, he forgot something. Knowing this was our busiest weekend of the year, and knowing we had all this personal family stuff happening, I completely checked out of the business owner mode and leaned way too far into mom mode. My primary responsibilities are usually website development and marketing and networking. Because operations isn't traditionally my department, I just assumed he had it handled. I knew he could handle it, but I still should have double checked just in case. If you're running a 2-person team, do not take your partner for granted. When you are in the thick of your busiest season, it is no longer about whose job is whose. It's not about checking off your specific list of responsibilities, wiping your hands and saying, well, I did my part, I'm done. It is about the common goal of having the business be a success. Sometimes you just have to take initiative. If you know that something needs to get done and you see that your partner is stretched to their absolute limit, you step in. You don't wait for them to ask for help. You don't assume that they have it covered just because it falls under their usual umbrella. A 2-person business isn't about perfectly divided tasks. It's about having each other's back when the safety net breaks. If you know a crazy week is coming up, show up just a little bit extra for them. We all drop the ball eventually. But how you prepare for those moments dictates whether you lose a customer forever or turn them into a lifelong advocate. And here are 3 things you need to do today to protect your business and your partnerships. Step 1 would be to sit down and identify the one area of your business where you have completely checked out because someone else usually handles it. Is it bookkeeping, your inventory packing, your scheduling? Set a reminder on your phone right now to spend 15 minutes this Friday simply double checking that system to take the load off your partner. Step 2. If you have a business partner, a spouse who helps out, or a key employee, go to them today. Do not wait for them to ask for help. Ask them, what is the heaviest thing on your plate and how can I take it off your hands? Show up for them before a mistake happens. And step 3 would be to establish your make it right protocol. Don't wait until a customer is yelling at you to figure out how to fix a mistake. Decide right now, is it a free service upgrade, a 50% discount, an extended rental? Write it down so that when panic sets in and your brain freezes, you already know exactly what to offer to save that relationship. And here is one thing to kind of keep in mind with that. If this is something that you know that they'll need again in the future, for example, like an oil change and something went wrong, then that's where I would offer that 50% off for the next time. So that is just one thing to kind of keep in mind. Is this something that you know for a fact that they will actually use? Being a business owner means making mistakes, eating crow, and learning how to build a stronger partnership for tomorrow. If you appreciate the raw, honest truth about the highs and lows of running a local business, please take a second to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you are listening right now. Leaving a rating and subscribing is the absolute best way to support the show, and it helps me keep bringing you these straight shooting strategies completely free. Own your mistakes, step up for your partner, and take action today. And I'll see you right back here next week, where we will build something even better together. Because this is not your dad's business.